Bao Zhou Po.
What's going on, everybody? Today we're at New Lucky Restaurant with a bunch of Cantonese people and Richie Lee, and we're going to talk about being Chinese, but specifically
Guangdongyan.
We're talking about Cantonese, which is one of the largest subgroups of being Chinese. Wes, you're Cantonese?
I am.
I'm Cantonese. Super Cantonese. To the bone.
Why do people kind of use Cantonese and Mandarin almost as different ethnicities or different cultures?
I think Cantonese and Mandarin are two separate dialects, two different languages actually, because you can't understand the other one. Cantonese has about 8 or 9 tones. Mandarin has like 4, maybe 5.
China is like one big place. There's gonna be a lot of differences. People ask, are you Cantonese or Mandarin? Already there, I'm giving them some points. For someone to know that there's a difference there, that's already pretty cool. Most people say that Cantonese is more harsh.
Or robust.
Or
is
I like
another
that.
way.
I like that.
Robust
We are very
Harsh
robust.
or robust? They like to joke a lot.
They like comedy.
Yeah, they like comedy.
Fung
Because you know
Bros.
all the best Chinese comedies are from Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Jet Li is super serious, and then you look at Jackie Chan. Basically, like, I mean, he's hilarious.
He's a Chan.
He's a Chan.
Chan.
Definitely Mandarin is more formal. I think Cantonese is more slang. It's more of the, you know, the hipper, cooler language. There's like so many different ways to say one word.
So I am on my way to Hong Kong. Nice dinner, guys, but time to go and hold an umbrella and get some food. So see ya.
From all ABCs, we said Lei Ho.
I grew up in San Marino, so basically surrounded by Taiwanese friends. I did go to Cantonese school though, in El Sereno, growing up.
I don't hear about Cantonese school very much. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That exists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes is signing up.
Yeah, sign up.
It was nice to go Saturday mornings and be connected with other Cantonese kids.
So I grew up in the Bay Area, and I feel like the Cantonese population up there is pretty strong, actually. Talking about my parents, they're from Guangzhou.
We also call it GZ.
GZ.
That's the nickname.
The same way someone like Mandarin goes to like Taiwan and they feel a sense of pride, I think, because they can speak the language. When I go back to Hong Kong, I kind of have that feeling too, where I've returned to a home that I've never been a part of.
Man, that's a Wong Fu line, man.
That's some Wong Fu.
Growing up in the LA part of Chinatown, there was also a lot of other ethnic Asians. It was really diverse. I was never really in a setting where I really got to speak it at all, unless I was at home.
I have a question, like, why is your Cantonese easily the best among everyone here, but you say you speak it so little?
I grew up watching a lot of TVB.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
People watch TVB.
They watch the dramas and they get really good.
I remember when I first went to Hong Kong, I thought it was so dope because it was like a really big city full of people that were speaking the same language as in Chinatown. You went to Hong Kong and it was like this futuristic city that was speaking Cantonese.
I actually like because there's both sides. There's some
Right.
really grungy, dirty parts of Hong Kong.
Yes.
It's almost like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Some of it's
future ghetto.
is crazy.
But then, you know, you'll walk a block and you get the nicest, fanciest shopping center. I
Yeah.
kind of like that, you know,
Juxtaposition.
duality.
And I think it's funny that we say Cantonese is not the mainstream Chinese, while in America, it's actually the mainstream Chinese, because Cantonese people were the first ones to come to America and establish kind of the Chinese culture.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say this name? Stephen Chow.
Hilarious.
Kung Fu Hustle. Shout out to Kung Fu Hustle, because actually I learned a decent amount of my Cantonese from that
Really?
movie, and my dad told me, that is very bad Cantonese. Andrew."
He knows how to have a good time, and I like how he always has the same team of people. I want to hang out with Stephen Chow, you know?
Fu Chao Bong le. Just Kung Fu Hustle close, that's all I know.
Andy Lau, Lau Dak Wah.
Oh, my dream guy.
I know that from the culture that my parents come from, he's a really big deal.
I do like some of his movies, but I would just say his pop music that he makes is horrible. It is horrendous.
I think he has some good classic karaoke songs.
Can you say one?
No, because I need to sing along to it.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's awesome. Mo Gando, Infernal Affairs, one of my favorites.
He's talented, he can act, he can sing, and literally anything he puts out has become successful. And he never ages. That man still looks the same 20 years ago.
Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fat.
I like Bruce Lee because he wasn't just a movie star, he actually created his own craft.
Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do.
And I think it's important to note that I feel like when he came to America and he was representing Chinese, he really knew Chinese culture and he really understood American culture at the same time. He was very philosophical about it, and that's what I try to take from him, is to try to understand the two worlds.
The duality.
Yeah, I think that's what more and more people should look up to him as. Not just a fighter, not just because he was buff, not just because he could punch you 6 times before you even blink, but because he really understood Chinese culture.
I guess one of the biggest questions the Cantonese people have right now is there any point in learning Cantonese?
I love the Cantonese language because it's so colloquial, but at the same time, there's a lot of phrases that you can say in Cantonese, but you can't write it out. So I think in 100 years it might be phased out. Nobody's gonna want to learn it anymore.
Oh, I think it's always going to be around, if not in China, at least in a lot of overseas Chinese communities. Every country you go to on earth has a Chinese person, and more likely than not, they're Cantonese.
I'm already having enough trouble just learning Mandarin. To try to learn Cantonese is tough, but I do always want to keep it. If I have kids, they are going to know at least the dim sum names.
I just want to preserve what I know, and maybe, you know, hopefully pass on to my kids. That will probably fall on like my mom and dad teaching me.
If you lose the language, then what makes the Cantonese Cantonese?
Even if in 150 years, like, Cantonese is almost phased out, I hope Cantonese food is not phased out.
Ooh,
That is the best.
I don't know what the future holds. Somebody somewhere will keep it back. We could all teach the people watching a Cantonese phrase. Cantonese has 9 tones. All 9 tones is contained in this sentence is all sung sig yap wun ao lam wan thân min tong.
我想食一碗牛腩雲吞麵湯。
我要食一半牛腩雲吞麵湯。
Oh!
牛腩入濕雲吞米心。
Yes.
So let's talk about like why it's even important to talk about identity at all. So many second generation or third generation kids in America, we're like, oh, we're just American, like just be American. Why talk about where your parents came from and all these stereotypes and why these matter? Those have been rooted in our culture for so long. It doesn't just get washed away in one generation in America. Whether or not you like to admit it, it does matter.
Talking about it is the only way we're going to preserve it. Most Asians in California, maybe even America, don't really think about, you know, the specifics of their culture. We're not trying to like segregate. No. We're not trying to raise the differences of who's better and who's worse. Just more like identify, you know, what our roots are. And I think every culture does that at some point. For, you know, Cantonese people in America, we gotta do that too.
Yeah. Things like identity, heritage, and where your parents are from, they can be such uncomfortable topics, right? Because you can't control them. We literally at birth have no choice what ecosystem we're born into. Like the Cantonese Chinatown world, that was like one of the worlds that I grew up in. You know, we all grew up in. I think it's noteworthy to talk about. Just because you don't talk about it and you try to sweep it underneath the rug does not mean that it goes away.
It's gonna grow underneath the rug, and then the rug is gonna get really big, and then you're gonna look under it one day and it's gonna just blow up in your face, and you're gonna wonder what happened.
That's why we're talking about it.
That's why we're talking about it.
That's why we're talking about it, man.
That's why we talk about it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for our episode about the Chinese Cantonese identity.
Canto talk at a table. Shout out to everybody who came out. Please watch this video, which is the Cantonese seafood dinner Fung Bros food episode, also featuring the same group of people. Watch this video too. Subscribe to our channel. Check out our shirts at Gummy Mall. You know what I'm saying.
All right, you guys, everybody do the Hong Kong goodbye.
Bye-bye.